Hello my dear students, I hope you all are doing well. So today we are going to start the supply function. In the previous video we have completed the determinants of supply. So there were various determinants. We have discussed nearly 6 points like price of commodity, prices of factors of production, technology and so on. So these all are the factors that affect the supply of a commodity. Now today I am going to start this supply function. So what is supply function? Supply function is the functional relation between the quantity supply and its determinant. So it is the functional relationship between quantity supply and its determinants, or we can say that it is the mathematical expression of quantity supply and its determinant, and that can be written as S equals to function of the different. What were the different determinants? Price of commodity, let's represent this P as price of commodity. Price of related goods, let's represent that one by PR. Technology, that's represented by T. Prices of factors of production, we can PF, prices of factors of production. Then input prices, let's represent that one as IP. Similarly, we had goals of the producers, let's represent that one by G. Similarly, we had taxation and the government policy that also affects the supply of commodity, that let's represent it by T, TS, etc. and so on. So this mathematical expression or this functional relationship between the quantity supply and its different determinants are called supply function. So this is important for 2 marks question. It may come in objective type. Define supply function. So supply function is a functional relation or mathematical expression of quantity supply and its determinants. So you can consider the determinants and whatever the symbol we are using it, like P is represented for price of the commodity, PR is price of related goods, T is for technology, PF is the factors price or cost of factors of production, IP input prices, G is the goal of the producers, T is taxation policy of the government and so on. So this is the case of this supply function. The next important topic we have law of supply. So we have done the law of demand, and in the case of law of demand we have explained that the other things remaining constant. When the price of commodity increases, quantity demand will decrease, and when price decreases, quantity demand will increase. That means in the case of law of demand it shows the inverse relationship, whereas in the case of law of supply it says that other things remaining constant when price of commodity increases. When the price of commodity increases, quantity supply will increase. And when price of commodity decreases, the quantity supply will decrease. And when price decreases, quantity supply will also decrease. So what we can notice from this law of supply is that it shows the direct relationship between the price and the quantity supply. When price of commodity increases, quantity supply will also increase. When price of commodity decreases, quantity supply will also decrease. So there is a positive relationship or direct relationship between the price and the quantity supply of it. So why do you think that when price increases, the quantity supply will increase, and when price decreases, quantity supply will decrease? So we know that the main objective or the main motive of the producers is to maximize their profit. So when price increases, their profit margin will increase, and when the profit margin increases, the quantity supply or the production will increase. The producers will produce more and supply more in the market. Similarly, when the profit margin decreases, the quantity supply in the market will decrease. So if price increases, quantity supply will increase. If price decreases, quantity supply will also decrease. So this is the case of law of supply. Now we have mentioned here other things remaining constant. So what are the things that is going to remain constant in the case of explaining this law of supply? So the other determinants like price of related goods, goals of the producers, technology, input prices, etc., that factors will remain constant. So here other things remaining constant means the other determinant except the price of commodity that will remain constant. Number one, we can say that input prices are constant. Number two, goals of the producers are constant. Number three, technology is also constant. Price of related goods is also constant. So these are the factors that will remain constant. So here all the things remaining constant means the goals of the producers is remaining constant, the factor prices remaining constant, technology will not change. Whatever the technology they were using earlier, now also they will use the same technology. The taxation policy of the government may not change. So that all comes under this other things remaining constant. If the goals of the producer changes or if technology changes, then quantity supply may affect, and in that case the law of supply will not be valid. So that's why we are keeping some of the factors as a constant while defining this law of supply. Okay, next concept we have supply schedule. So supply schedule is nothing, it is a tabular representation or statement of various quantities being supplied at the different prices at a particular period during a particular period of time. Once again, the supply schedule is a tabular representation of various quantities being supplied at the different prices during particular period of time. So that concept is known as supply schedule. So in order to explain this concept, I will consider one example. Suppose say price per unit and quantity supplied per week. The commodity may be X. Suppose say commodity may be X. Now when price of this commodity X is 5 rupees per unit. At that time, suppose say quantity supplied in the market is 20 units. Now when price of commodity increases from 5 to 10, the quantity supply may increase from 20 to 30 units. Similarly, when price increases from 10 to suppose say 15, So at that time the quantity supply will increase from 30 to suppose 45. Again, if price increases from 15 to suppose 20, the quantity supply may increase from 45 to 50. So this tabular representation of price and various quantity is being supplied at the different prices. So this tabular representation is called supply schedule. And the supply schedule is of two types. One is called individual supply schedule and market supply schedule. In the case of individual supply schedule, it is same, definition is same, it is a tabular representation, but in that case the quantity supplied will be only considered by one producer or individual firm. So when individual firm is supplying a different quantity of commodity at different prices, once again, if only one producer is supplying or producing and supplying the commodity in the market at various prices, then that is your individual supply schedule. And similarly, if many producers are there, they are producing the various types of commodity and supplying it in the market at the different prices, then at that time if we represent in a tabular form, so that concept can be considered as market supply schedule. As we were talking about this supply schedule, it is of two types, individual supply schedule and market supply schedule. Now first one, individual supply schedule. So as I have already explained you what is individual supply schedule. Individual supply schedule means the quantity supplied by a single producer or seller at a various prices, and if we represent that one in a tabular form, then that can be considered as an individual supply schedule. Similarly, in the case of market supply schedule, if many producers are producing the various commodity and supplying it in the market at the different prices, and if we represent that one in a tabular form, so that can be considered as a market supply schedule. Now I will explain you the concept of this individual supply schedule and market supply schedule with the help of one example. Now here in table number 1, I have considered individual supply schedule for good X. So the commodity is X. Now price of good X is given per kg. And quantity supply of good X, it is measured in kg per month. So when the price of good X is 10 rupees, the quantity supplied 5000 kg per month. When price increases from 10 to 15 rupees, the quantity supplied per month increases from 5000 to 10,000 kg. Similarly, when price increases from this 15 to 20, again we can see that the quantity supplied per month is increasing from 10,000 to 16,000. Similarly, again when price increases from 20 to 25 rupees, the quantity supplied increases from 16,000 to 25,000 kg per month. So in this case, what we can see that when the price of commodity is increasing, the quantity supplied of a good is also increasing. But this is the quantity supplied by only one producer. So how many producers are supplying this quantity of commodity? One producer or individual producer. So this is the case of individual supply schedule. What is individual supply schedule? Individual supply schedule is a tabular representation of various quantity is being supplied at the different prices by one producer or individual producer. So that concept is called what? Individual supply schedule. The next one, we have market supply schedule for good X. As I have already mentioned you that in the case of market supply, the quantity will be supplied by more than 2 or 3 producers. In the case of individual supply, only one producer or individual producers will be supplying the commodity. So here I have taken one example. Price of good X per kg is given there. So quantity supplied by firm A means producer A, first producers, and quantity supplied by producers B. So in the case of market supply schedule, it is also a tabular representation where quantity will be supplied by many producers. So for our simplicity, we have considered here two producers A or firm A and firm B. So when price is 10 rupees per kg, the quantity supplied by firm A is 5,000. When price is 15, quantity supply is 10,000, and so on. Similarly, the quantity supplied by firm B at price 10 we have 4,000. At price 15 we have 8,000. And when price is 20 we have 11,000. So how will get market supply? Market supply means we have to add the quantity supplied by A and B. So here if we add quantity supplied by A, when price is 10, quantity supplied by A is 5,000 and quantity supplied by firm B is we have 4,000. So total 5,000 plus 4,000 will get 9,000. When price increases from 10 to 15, we have 10,000 units. That means the quantity supplied by firm A is 10,000 and quantity supplied by firm B we have 8,000. So total 10,000 plus 8,000 we have 18,000. So this is the way to represent the market supply schedule of good X, where we have seen that many producers are there, they are supplying the various quantity of commodity at the different prices, and if we represent it in a tabular form, that is a market supply schedule. Now with the help of this market supply schedule or individual supply schedule, we can draw the supply curve also. With the help of this we can draw supply curve. So that supply curve derivation I will do it in the next class.